Hello, I'm Joseph Haldane, Executive Director of the International Academic Forum, the organising body behind the Asian Conference on the Social Sciences and the Asian Conference on Sustainability, Energy and the Environment. I'm joined today by Professor J. Friedlander of the University of the Atlantic, the College of the Atlantic, in Maine. Professor Friedlander, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Well, you're one of our keynote speakers this year, and you were talking about sustainability in business, and your career has encompassed both business and academia. Perhaps you can give us a short synopsis of your career thus far.
Certainly. So it's been varied. As you said, I left the world of enterprise where I was working to establish a chain of natural and organic restaurants, and then moved over slowly into academia, first adjuncting, and now I run a sustainable business program, and I'm the Sharpe-McNally Chair of Green and Socially Responsible Business at College of the Atlantic in Bar Harbor.
How was the transition from business to academia?
The transition has been great because in business it's all about making things happen, and in academia what you have the opportunity to do is to play with ideas and to then bring those ideas back, and having both those pieces has allowed me to take ideas and then work with students to make things happen. And so in a sense you get the best of both worlds.
Okay, great. And in the conference keynote speech, you talked about the concept of abundance. Now, we're used to hearing about sustainability. What's abundance in this context? What do you mean?
You know, in some ways it's a semantic difference. And what we're striving for, though, is a way to bridge the language gap that often exists within businesses and between enterprise and the world of sustainability, because many people think of that as a zero-sum game. And when you talk about abundance, I think it has more resonance particularly with the business community, because it is all about increasing value and creating new value for everyone from shareholders and folks within the firm to figuring out ways to do that while you're also creating abundance within society and for the environment. And so you could be solving social issues or environmental problems and doing that in such a way that things operate in a virtuous cycle where you have the social and environmental benefits also benefiting the company.
So can you give us a few examples, present examples of corporations where this term abundance has really taken hold? That,
in terms of abundance, you know, when you look at those ideas, one of the most important things that you can do whenever you're within a company is to be using their language. So I can't give you examples of people using that term per se, but there are numerous examples from every sector, from everything from small startups like the electron within phone banking, such as M-Pesa, who's all over Africa and doing a tremendous amount of money transfers simply using cell phones, to huge companies like General Electric, who have launched divisions that are a Fortune 150 company, using these same concepts and essentially finding out that by looking at the environmental and social problems, you can uncover new sources of value that you hadn't found before. So what's really happening of firms of all sizes, for-profit, nonprofit, public sector, NGOs, to large publicly traded companies and small startups.
How have you seen the concept of sustainability take root within business over the past 20 years?
So the concept of sustainability has really been changing over time. So it used to be sort of in the 1.0 version, it was, we give money to the opera or to the arts, and so we make money over here and then we give it away. The 2.0 version really was around the CSR and corporate social responsibility. And it was seen as something we're doing, but it's not necessarily part and parcel of the business. And now what you have is this whole notion of strategic sustainability, and how can looking at the world in a new way uncover new values, unlock innovation, help you discover things that you previously didn't even recognize as having any kind of value. And that's really where it's gone now for the leading edge companies, and it's become part and parcel of who they are, and it's embedded as part of their mission, not as something that we just do aside to make ourselves feel better.
It's become central.
Yeah, it's become central, and it's about cutting costs and reducing risk, but also about growing sales, finding new markets, and really doing all the things that are core to the business, but giving you a new lens to look through.
It's very interesting. I also wanted to ask you something. That I know you're interested in different areas of study. Here at IAFOR we have the concentration on the international, the intercultural, and of course the key, the interdisciplinary in terms of academic study. And I wondered if you could say something on how important interdisciplinary study is to you and to your particular research.
Yeah, it's essential. For me, when you look at finding new ideas, the innovations really happen at the crossroads. And so it's not, when you're doing a traditional study in an area, and you're looking, an inch wide and a mile deep, you have a very limited perspective. But when you start bringing in new views and new ideas, suddenly you see things that you never realized were there. And in business, for example, a lot of the initial sustainability work comes out of ecology. And if you didn't have an ecological perspective, you would have never thought about closing cycles or the concept that there really isn't waste in the world. It's really just something that's not being used, and you can use it to produce something else. So without the interdisciplinarity, the whole field that I'm in won't exist.
Okay, well, Professor Friedlander, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
And please join us at a future IAFOR conference if you can, or keep up to date with our latest activities at www.iafor.org. Thank you very much.